Page 26, Can Can. It's a very famous melody from an opera by Offenbach. And this is a short little piece of it. It's kind of nice. Let's go through the system for learning a piece of music and see what we can end up with. Look it over. It's about 4 lines long. Treble and bass clef. 1 sharp in the key signature. We're in the key of G major because that's what we're studying right now. Just make sure you do the scales for both, the G major and the E minor scale. Do them both. They're 1 octave up and down. And 2/4 time signature. We got 8th notes all over the place. Let's take it one hand at a time. Make sure we understand what each hand is doing. The right hand, starting with a 2-1. You're sort of in this position, but we need to cover 6 keys here. And one way of doing it is just to cross over for that extra key, and that's here. So it's and 1 and 2 and is what it is. So it's and 1. And then you lift up and come up here. That's fine. There's other ways of doing it. This is fine. We'll do that. Second line. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2. Now we're going to use 4th finger on the 3rd D. So we can change fingering on repeated notes. And again, got all these A's, so we're going to change fingering to get ready for what's coming. Up here. And now we just have a G major scale going down. Here. That's pretty much the piece. Left hand. We're just starting out here. And then rather than, see, we got 6 notes to cover and 5 fingers. And one way of doing it, as we did in the right hand, we could cross over. Another way of doing it, since we're not using all the other notes, is we can simply stretch up a little bit. So we're in this position. And that's what we're handling here. Either fingering is fine, so I like this. It gives us a chance to use different fingerings. And the second line you just got here. And then down here, come down. Now, we're going to go back and forth between these chords. This chord, second line, first measure, and this chord. Second line, second measure. We're going to end up going back and forth between them. So to help me not move around so much, rather than 5, I'm going to use 3. I'm going to stretch out more like this. This way, all I got to do is come here. I'm leaving the little finger. I'm just moving a little bit. So it's here, 3. Last 3 measures here, and you go here. I tend to use a 3-2 on that one, just because it's easier. Whichever, use fingering in the book if you want. Then we put the hands together. Well, the first line they're playing one hand at a time, so start with the second line. Here, then here, then here, then here. Look out. We'll put the hands together, not that fast, of course, you do it. And then go back over it slowly and carefully and get rid of the hesitations. And once I can get all that okay, then I'll add the articulation. The hand flex the wrist for the staccato. Fermata, just linger on that. Hold it out a little longer. If I do it with a metronome, I'll just hold it for 2 counts instead of 1 because I got to stay with the metronome. So I just double the value. And then you can get your left hand up here ready to go on the second line because you got to move the right hand. This way we can just focus on the right hand. This left hand, they don't give any articulation for this. You can do it any way you want. Typically, we will play the left hand disconnected. Because it kind of bounces around. It's a dance. Don't have to. I could connect them. This makes it heavier, and this should be a light, friendly dance. So my suggestion is go ahead and play these left hand staccato. Here. I could make some other suggestions in it, but let's just stick with that. Now the last measure at the bottom, they give you 2 tenutos. I don't know why, but just make sure they last the full count. That last note, the last quarter note, you could hang on to that just a hair longer than a beat. Just a hair longer. Not much, just a little bit. And then once I have the articulation sort of under control, I'll think about the dynamics. It starts out soft, and here it's both hands because it's all melody. And the second line, it's loud. Forte, melody. This, background. Again, I'm heavy in one hand, I'm light in the other. I'm hoping that when you're doing the scales, you're doing that also. Practice playing the scale. Heavy in one hand, light in the other. At the same time, then switch them. Make the other hand heavy. Light. So you get that feeling of playing one hand louder than the other, and you can exaggerate it. Make it really loud and really soft if you have to. That way when you get this in the music, and you will get it a lot, you just do it loud, soft. That's the only dynamic they give you. Of course, when you get into interpreting it, you may get a little louder and softer if you feel it. It's okay. Speed, it's quick, but it has to be accurate, though, so don't go faster than accurate. How fast can you do the third line? How fast can you do that, pretty much? Or the last line, the last few measures? How fast can you do that accurately? And that'll be your allegro for you. Everybody will be a little bit different. That's my allegro for now. Give me another cup of coffee or two and it would change a little bit. It's a happy light dance, except they have the right hand loud. The ritardato at the end of the first line, you're going to slow down some, and to the fermata, you hold that down. Here. And then the odd tempo in the second line means resume the speed you were going before you slowed down. So here, just however fast you were going. Notice the double bars at the end of the first line. They're 2 thin bar lines. Don't call them double bars. That is the symbol for sections. You're leaving one section and going to go into another section. I've already spoken about sections. This first line is a section of music all by itself. It happens to be an introduction. An introduction is a section. A coda, when we get to them at the end, that's a section. The double bars don't absolutely have to be there. You're still going to play it the same. It just helps to understand what's going on in the music when they do this. Go, oh, okay, that's a section in itself. And then the piece starts with the second line. You could leave out the first line completely and start with the second line and nobody would know the difference. But having the introduction there, it kind of sets the mood, and the tempo and the harmony and all kind of gets it all set to get ready to start the piece is all. Now once you can play it without any hesitations, let's play it together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. Because there's eighth notes all over everywhere, I'm going to put the metronome on eighth notes again. I'll give us 2 quarter note counts to come in, ready and go and. I can't slow down at the end of the first line, the metronome won't slow down, and I'm going to hold the quarter note for 2 counts instead of 1. And then we just go through it. Ready and go and. And hold and